Hello, my name's Lawrence. I'm the author of Cancerology, and if you have cancer or know somebody who does, this book will help. Everybody knows what cancer's like. It's rings around the eyes and bald and no energy and all the rest of it. But really that doesn't scratch the surface. If it was a balloon, it wouldn't even pop the balloon. I wish somebody had bothered to write a book like this when I was first diagnosed, which was way back in 2002. I've had cancer 17 times since then. But if I had been able to get a book like this that told me what it's like, that told me what to expect and how to deal with it when it arrives, or what to expect and how to avoid it completely, it's gold. That would have been a brilliant book. And had I had a book like this way back then and read it, it would have made my journey so much easier. Not only that, if I'd been able to say to some of my fellow patients who were going through exactly the same treatment for exactly the same cancer and say, look, here's a book, it's full of tips and tricks, you should read it. Some of them might be alive today who didn't make it. Cancer's hard. It's not easy. So this is my landing page, the Cancerology landing page, and it's recommended that I give you a free gift. That's what they say. You should give your viewers a free gift. So my free gift to you is, wait for it, is me. And I know what you're saying. If I was you, I'd be saying, dude, seriously, wise up. But bear with me. When I was first diagnosed and I had my treatment, and I was bald and a big puffy face from the steroids, which can also give you anger problems, and I was out at a shopping centre, and I received I was standing in a queue and I received this little tap on my shoulder, and I thought, well, okay. So I turned round and there's this little lady standing behind me. And she looks up at me, she's old, and she's got a headscarf on, and she's got no eyelashes, no eyebrows, so obviously she had cancer. And she looked up at me and she said, cancer? And I looked down, I said, yes. And she said, big lad, I've had cancer twice. And if I can beat it twice, you can definitely beat it. Now that was motivational. And looking back on it, had she said, hold out your hands and put £1 million or $1 million in this hand, and her advice in this hand, this is the hand you need. This is the hand you've got to pay attention to. The money, you can't spend the money if you're dead. It's brutal, it's blunt, it's straight to the point, but it's a fact. Does that make sense? I've had cancer 17 times, I said. I've had it in my spleen, liver, heart, colon, lymphatic system, kidney and bladder, and yes, I rehearsed that. I've had 6 different EDODs. What's an EDOD? An EDOD is an estimated date of demise. For my first cancer, I was given 6 months. My second cancer, I was given 3 months. My third cancer, which was a transplant, and it was the big guns, I was given 6 months to a year. With my fourth cancer, when it came back after the big guns, it didn't work. They gave me 3 months on palliative care. And I had a hospice booked so that at the end of it, I would be able to go into the hospice and pass away peacefully. During treatment, I went into renal failure, and on a Wednesday they said to my wife, be prepared because he won't be around at the weekend. 3 days to live. 2017, they gave me 6 months to a year, so 6 different estimated dates of demise. Spoiler alert, I'm still here. Now, what you should be, the free gift is, you should be thinking, if this dude did it 17 times, then I can do it. Because that's what the old lady gave to me. If she could do it twice, and she was an old lady, and I was 42 at the time, and big and fit, and I thought, yeah, definitely I can do this. Attitude matters so much. And some people say it doesn't. You can't fight cancer cells with attitude. But they're wrong. And most people who have that opinion have never had cancer. You ask a cancer patient, does attitude matter? And they'll say, definitely. Ask a nurse, ask a doctor, ask a hematologist or an oncologist, and they'll say, yeah, attitude's a big thing. You need to get your attitude right. You need to get your head around it. And that's where this comes in. Because all the mistakes that I made, and I made a lot, and all the mistakes other people made that I learned about, we tell you how to avoid them. Now, during the writing of this book, I spoke to consultants and hematologists and oncologists and anaesthetists and all sorts of people. But one group in particular was cancer patients. And in particular, 7 cancer patients, just 7. And it took me 2 years to find them. Because you can't go to a hospital and say, look, I need a list of all your cancer patients. They can't give you that information, but I got it. And I got 7 cancer patients, very, very special. And all 7 had beaten cancer a minimum of 3 times. One girl had beat it 10 times. One guy had beat it 7 times, but they'd all beat it more than 3 times. And I asked them one simple question. What would you do if your cancer returned? What would you do if cancer came back or you had a new diagnosis? And without exception, they all said the same thing. I'd beat it again. Or I'd just beat it again. But I'd beat it again. That was the answer. Because they had been there before, they had done it, they knew what to expect. They had no reservations about taking on the battle again. If I could get their attitude and bottle it and sell it, I'd make a fortune. And that's where the problem lies. When you're just diagnosed and it's the first time, you never see anybody going into a consultant's office and they get the cancer diagnosis and they come out and somebody says, well, what was it? That's cancer. What are you going to do? I'll just beat it again. That's the attitude they need to have, but that's the attitude they don't get until they've beat it at least once. But you can get a lot of help on your way simply by talking to other people who have had it or reading books. If you want to learn how to play chess or you want to learn how to do something, you get a book. And when you get a book, you invest 6 or 8 hours reading that book and you get, 10, 15, 20 years experience in 6 hours. It's a no-brainer. Bottom line is, I'm sorry you're here, because the only reason you're here is if you have cancer or if you know somebody who does. And if you check below, there's lots of other information. There's PDFs and there's different links and bits and bobs you can have a look at. But I would be remiss if I didn't say, get my book. Now you'll see lots of things on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram saying, get my book, it's cheaper than a cup of coffee. My book isn't cheaper than a cup of coffee, but get my book. Because it could be the difference between getting out the other side of cancer and having the friends that you went into cancer with. Or getting out the other side of cancer and your relationship still being intact. It could even be the difference between life and death. Making the journey easier is a big deal. And that's what Cancerology is. So don't wait until you need it. There's a phrase in cancer says that is, get in front of it. If you have a temperature, don't wait until the temperature gets out of control. Get it at the start. Nip it in the bud when it's easy to deal with. And it's the same with the journey through cancer. Make it easy on yourself.